I'm going to take the list, okay?
Sure, yeah,
For
sure.
example, Simon,
Yeah.
perfect. Sven, good. Lasse
Yes.
and Matthias,
Yes.
perfect. Okay, so
You missed Sebastian. He's also here. He's here.
Sebastian, perfect. I was thinking that you dismissed Sebastian. My name is Tony Gonzalez. I'm from Made in Metal, Spain. We are here because we are to talk about Necro Sapiens. Enjoy the coffee. I was thinking that you were having a beer.
Yeah.
Yes. Matthias, what are you eating?
Cake. Brownie.
Ah, a piece of cake. Perfect. So I would like to have a very nice conversation with you.
You're welcome.
My friends and co-worker from Made in Metal is a big fan of Baest, and he thinks that this CD defines your sound as its best. He wants to know who was the producer of the CD.
Andreas Linnemann. He also he produced the other albums, the first album, the EP, the second album, and this one as well. We've worked with him since 2016, since the EP, and he's a very good friend and quite nice producer, quite new in the music. So we wondered that he could bring something fresh for the production as well.
Yes.
And he wants the same thing as we want. So basically, it's meant to be our sound ambassador.
So we thought the band has a strong evolution through your music. You are the same musician since the first CD. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good point.
This time around, we recorded the album live. Everyone was recording at the same time, played in the studio, and we couldn't have done that if it wasn't the same 5 guys in the band. It was in October, so we weren't locked down at that moment.
No.
Luckily.
But I know you were.
Something that we like it is that you are releasing one album a year. How can you do it?
We think we're still pretty new to this, so we just still have a lot of energy and creativity flowing, and we just want to succeed as fast as possible. So I think that's our goal. It's more fun to release albums than not to release albums.
You know, it was all of a sudden a virus and we couldn't do anything, so of course we're just gonna go into the rehearsal space and write an album and really take our time with it and play it so greatly that we could actually just record it and we just played it. So that's what happened, and we were pretty lucky that it was successful.
And how this CD was conceived now that you were all together?
The CD was already planned to be released here in March, but all of a sudden we were not going on tour with Phil and Selmo and not going on our own tours, so we had a lot more time. And that meant that instead of being on tour for 30 days, we met up in the rehearsal space every Monday and Friday, and then me and Lasse brought some riffs, and we played these riffs together and made them into songs. While we were writing all the songs, we were writing the full concept of the album, and that is inspired by 1984 by George Orwell. It is a dystopian post-apocalyptic society where the capitalists live on an extra planet and the necrosapiens are on Earth as a slave race. So we developed this full concept and the full variety of songs each Monday and Friday throughout the summer and the fall. And then we recorded it in Lundgaard Studios in October, and we mixed it in 2 weeks afterwards, while everyone in the band actually had the virus. So we mixed it from home over the phone, because the producer also had COVID-19. But yeah, then it was done.
There is a song in this CD that is Purification through Massacre. And when I checked the title, I thought in Carcass, in band like Carcass. So, in general terms, what are the lyrics about?
That's a big question. The first song is the genesis of the Necrosapiens. That's their creating process. The second one is a presentation of these Necrosapiens. The third song is a presentation of the guy on the cover. That's the Tsar, the ultimate king. Then we have a presentation of the parliament in this world. That is the abattoir. We call it abattoir because the Necrosapiens' hopes and thoughts are slaughtered by the elite in the parliament. You might recognize this from other regimes in the world. And so forth. Purification through mutilation was just a really sick title that we actually had for a while.
Another Carcass, remind me.
But actually, there's no one has ever made a song called it. Dying Fetus has an album called Purification Through Violence, but that doesn't sound as good. Massacre is about a guy you rent to torture your slaves. So it's in general, the lyrics are about this big concept in the post-apocalyptic world, but it's also like more classic death metal and gore, just into pure pain and suffering and stuff like that. We think it's fun to write. I think there's a line in Massacre that goes, connoisseur lobotomy, which is fun. It sounds sick, it's fun. So yeah, classic death metal lyrics, but with a bigger idea this time around.
Where are you living now?
Aarhus, Denmark.
Aarhus, Denmark, yeah.
So did you tell Michel Nolte what do you want to have in the cover, or you just give him the songs or things like that? Tell me, how was the process?
We actually had another cover art ready that wasn't accepted by everyone in the whole process. So we had to do a quick one, and we actually had to do it while we were in the studio. So I wrote up a long text about the album and the concept, just as I just told you what was it about. And then I wrote a small text about the Tsar, how should he look. Lasse had an idea that he needed to have an ever-changing face. And you can see that on his staff on the cover. There's a lot of faces on it, because he can change into who he wants to be able to get what he wants. Mitchell received this long-ass text from me, and then we emailed back and forth, and he kept sending me sketches. And then I would say, that's a cool sketch. Maybe you need to have a planet in the background there, or we need to have something more chainmail there, or some eyes around his throat or something. And we just emailed back and forth for a couple of weeks, and then the cover was done. So Mitchell Nolte is a pretty sick artist. He caught on to what we wanted really fast. And I think the cover as well is really nice.
When I read some reviews or the promo that the company sent us, everything said that Genesis is a very different song. And I think that maybe Genesis is different from the previous CDs, but in this context, it's not so different.
Yes, Genesis was one of the first songs we had ideas for. The melody was the first thing that came into mind. It was a hard song to write, because we don't usually write songs with so little stuff going on. It's only 3 or 4 riffs, then that's it, and then a strong melody. So that was a challenge. Woody was a great guy in just sitting and listening and saying, we need to have this part 4 times, and then with this part, go back to the melody. It was a different song for sure to write, but I think the melody is both like death was at some point, but it's also like, some of the great Dream Theater stuff that I like, and some of the great Rush stuff. So it was a different song with different inspirations than usual, but I think it serves the purpose as a great album opener. And also for the fans of Baest who has heard all the records, it's a surprise to listen to this song. We're going to release it as a single as well, and I'm excited to see what the guys are going to say. And for new fans, it's also a different death metal song.
For example, I enjoy Necrosapiens, Gorgas, but there is one that is my favorite, that is Tower of Suffocation, because I imagine that there is a touch of groove, maybe a Pantera influence, or maybe it's because you were preparing the tour with Anselmo, and you say, I'm going to show Anselmo that we know. Tell me about Tower of Suffocation, please.
There's also a lot of different variations in that song. I think we needed some fast songs at this point, and then the riffs just came by themselves. And say the verse riff is inspired by Immortal, actually from touring with Abad. Mm-hmm. And that, I think, it brought in some new stuff to our world. We built this fast thing up, and when you're going that fast, you can really take it down to a slow, groovy part, and we used that. I think it's one of our greatest breakdowns so far, and pretty fond of it. Yeah. And then we brought in that
Balkan stuff.
Balkan salsa. It's like, of course, you're a guy from Spain. You would love it, right?
Cuba.
Yeah, from Cuba. Sorry. It has that exotic feel.
It's an exotic folk feel. That was so much fun to learn to play in here. And me and Lasse learned it, and then showed it to the other guys, and all the other guys were like,
Yeah.
what's gonna happen. That was a fun song.
You can say some Buena Vista Social Club.
Maybe this is the reason why it's my favorite song.
Perhaps, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Looking forward to play that part live.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a great dance party.
In Havana.
Yes. I have a radio show called Made in Metal 2, and I'm going to take the part of the. I'm going to play Tower of Suffocation, and I'm going to take this part when you say there is a little salsa, because you know that there are some death metal purists, and but I want to salsa. I am a death metal fan. I remember that in November 2019 we saw the band in Bilbao beside Entombed AD and Aborted, and we love your show. I imagine that you can't wait to go out and play the new songs. But do you have planned for 2021, or you are going to wait for 2022?
We hope we're gonna still tour with Anselmo in June and July. Then we still have plans to do our own headlining tour in Denmark. That's gonna happen at some point. And then we have a headlining tour in Europe planned as well. I think we're coming by Spain, that we also hope we're gonna do. But we never know what's gonna happen from now on. All we know is in March we're gonna release an album, and the day before we release the album, we're gonna play on the Danish national television. So it's gonna be a nice release here in Denmark, after all.
That you told me made me think that the Danish metal scene has always given big and influential bands. But how is this scene watching from the inside? I imagine, for example, I imagine if I go to Denmark one day, that I will go to the street and I will find metalheads everywhere and a lot of places playing music. Is good, or I'm wrong?
I think Danish metal fans are a bit lazy sometimes. Sometimes at a Danish metal show, you're not supposed to see anyone crowd surfing or headbanging. Most people are like this the most of the time. We have a lot of new and younger fans joining in, and they party their asses off. So Baest shows are getting really exciting. But the normal, generic Danish metal fan, he's a bit boring. And they're also very purists. They don't like, for example, we got a lot of shit in the beginning of Baest because we're always smiling when we play, like, wow, because it's so fucking funny. And they hated that because that's not metal to smile. So there's a lot of very serious metal fans in Denmark, and they won't show any happiness whatsoever.
But it's in general, it's not heavy metal fans everywhere. If you come to the right places, then it's a lot of heavy metal fans. For instance, where we rehearse, it's like a big rehearsal community, and all the bands out here.
Okay, if I go out and I see a young man, long hair, black t-shirt, I say, hey man, what is the party?
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
Okay, perfect. Taking account that Matthias doesn't speak yet, do you think that the next question, can I ask the next question to Matthias?
Yeah, of course.
Perfect. So, Matthias, please, I would like that you say goodbye with a few words to your Spanish fans.
Of course. Hey, Spain. We are based from Denmark, and we love to see you at some time soon. And on March 15, we're releasing our new album, and you have to give it a listen.
Arriba, arriba!
This was basically the interview. I really enjoyed this conversation. I didn't enjoy the T and the K, but it doesn't matter.
Next time.
Next time.
You know that next time we're going to have cake.
Yeah.
Perfect.
For the next year.
We will like some specialities from Bilbao. We like your food there.
Bye bye. Have a good day.
Have a good day.
The CD is awesome.
Thanks, man.
Awesome, man. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.